To get started, you want to take your button and you want to attach all your cords to your button, and you want to pull them out at equal length at either side, and do this for all the cords. And then you want to take your button and attach it to the top of your board, and then you want to take the two longest cords out at either side, and then you can take all your shortest cords and clip these to the bottom of the board in the centre, like that. And to begin your pattern, you're just going to do a regular square knot pattern, and you want to do this for about half the size of your wrist. So if you want to measure it before you get started, so you know you're going about the right way around, you want to do it slightly off centre, so measure from the middle of the bottom of your wrist to around there. So to get started, you want to take your first cord over the top of your central cords, and the next cord you want to take over the top of this one, and then go under and pull through. And to complete your square knot, you want to go under with this cord, and then take this cord underneath this one and go over and through. And you want to keep repeating these knots until, as I say, you get just slightly off centre for the centre of your wrist. So this will vary depending on the size of your wrist. It's a good idea to measure as you go along. So once you've worked the first part of your bracelet, you want to remove the shorter cords from the bottom of the board, and you want to split these into two separate sections, and then you want to take half of them and clip these to the bottom of the board and put this side out of the way, and then you want to take your outside cord here and you want to go over and pull through, and then under and pull through, and then over and pull through, and then under and pull through. And you want to keep repeating this until you've got the section in the middle, a gap big enough to fit this bit through. But bearing in mind there will be beads on it as well, so you want to make sure there's plenty of space. So for this I'm going to do 10 square knots, but you could do more or a few less if you wanted. So once you've done this side, you can remove the short cords from the bottom of the board and take the short cords from the other side and clip those down, and then you want to do the exact same thing but a mirror at this side. So you want to do the same amount of hitch knots at this side as you did at that side. So once you've done both sides, you can take both your short cord sides and then clip these back to the bottom of the board, and then you want to do square knots again, and you want to do the same amount of square knots at this side as you did at that side. So once you've done the same amount of knots here as you did here, you can go on to the second part of your pattern, which will form the other half of your wrap. So to do that, you want to take all the short cords in the centre, and you want to thread on your first bead. So once you've attached your bead, you can push it up to where you finish knotting, and then you can do a square knot to hold it in place. So because these are bigger beads, I'm going to do 2 square knots here, but you could just do 1 if you were using smaller beads. And once that's in place, I'm going to do the same thing again and just add my next bead. And I'm going to keep doing this all the way down for the other half of my bracelet. So once you've added your last bead, you can repeat what you did when you got halfway through the first part of your bracelet and separate your sections into two. And then clip one half to the bottom of the board, put one half out of the way, and do hitch knots this time to create your buttonhole. Just want to go over and through, and then under and through. And how many knots you will need will depend on the size of your button, so it's a good idea to measure as you go along. And you want to do the same thing at both sides. So once you've done both sides, you can do what you did last time and take all your short cords back in the centre, clip them back to the board, and close your fastening with square knots. And once you're happy everything's nice and secure, you can remove your bracelet from the board, and then you just want to trim and seal any excess. So I'm going to use a lighter to seal here, but you could use glue if you preferred. So once you've finished, you should end up with something that looks like this. So now you just want to create the double wrap. So you want to insert one end through the first gap that you created. You just ease that through until you can get round to fasten with the button. And you should end up with something that looks like this. And that is your completed bead macrame wrap bracelet.